a certain somebody and their lack of remaining lives, or more lives we thought they had, on Zelda 2?
Yeah, I remember that. All right, here we go. We're off and running. And what you're going to see immediately is there's going to be an up and A after they grab this sword, and then they're going to head on over to level 3. Look at the sync we've got.
Yeah, and basically, for those of you who've never sort of seen this category, this is an offshoot of the sort of predominant speedrun category, which is any percent no up A. What no up A basically means is if you pause the game and then hit up and A together on the second controller, you're basically doing a forced reset of the game, or a forced death per se. So basically, it's death warps without having to actually hit and die.
All right, you go ahead and talk about what's going on. I got some syncing to do.
Well, if you got some syncing to do, I suggest either the kitchen or the bathroom. Both of those are my preferred place to do any sort of syncing. But what we have here is we've got our runners going through level 3 here, at least the first 3 of them. John Tabin actually doing a level 2 first route, so we already have some variation. And basically what you're going to see here is the level 3 first route is what's preferably known as the world record route. It's the route you're going to see a lot of people tend to do, just because of the efficiency of the route. It is much more difficult to do, though, because you lose out on some heart containers. You're having to fight Manhandla on 3 hearts, Goyak on 4 hearts. We'll get to the bosses in a minute. The 2 first route, that is your typical route that you're going to end up doing when you first sort of break into the game. 2 first is still the route I use, although I have a 41 time and any percent don't talk to me about anything. I'm just horrible. So basically the whole point here, what we're doing is we still have to go get some items, even though we know where everything is. We still have to get some items because we need the raft to get the 4, the ladder to get through things. So we're basically going through and getting our items now. So the sync you saw there is kind of crazy, but you also saw a route variation right inside level 3. And that was quote-unquote top route and quote-unquote bottom route. Basically, there's 2 different schools of thought on how you want to do it. You saw JSR use the bottom route. Bottom route is what you technically see as the more, again, I'm using air quotes here that you can't see, traditional route. That's what you tend to see a lot more people doing if you're watching the original speedrun. The top route, I forget who actually came up with it, whether it was a UNOS variation or something to that effect. But it does, it eliminates a little bit of the variance having to deal with the dark nuts by going up and getting the guaranteed bomb drop. So it's all a matter of what you want. Ooh, speaking of variance, Manhandla not agreeing with BTs and claiming its first victim here. This is any percent, so there'll probably be more than 1 victim.
Yeah, so unfortunately what you saw there is Manhandla didn't play nice, and Manhandla's fireballs as well as collision from Manhandla does 1 heart of damage. So at 3 hearts, this is what they can really consider the first major gatekeeper of the run. You can see BTs is going to be trying to get some bomb drops, and he's already having some issues against the Dark Nuts at this point, as we see JSR and 4-Eye Steven, they're heading to level 4.
Yeah, and John Tabin going to go ahead and pick up a heart container. The interesting thing about this 2 first route that you see John Tabin doing here is I haven't taken a look at his actual route, but I did some research earlier. On the leaderboards for any percent, John has a 33:23 as a time, 33 minutes 23 seconds, which is good for 9th place, so he's a top 10 time. I don't know if this is the route he does in that, or if this is just a cautious route for aggregate seeding. Although what you don't have for caution is Manhandla being Manhandla and not letting BTs get anywhere.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate death right there for BTs.
The worst part about this is he's only got 3 bombs, so he has to keep relying on the random drops from these dark nuts, and you're not guaranteed to get that, especially in you're only getting 3 dark nuts here, because there's the drop table and bomb dropping enemies, which for the quick and dirty summation version is if it's a blue enemy on the overworld, it's going to drop bombs, and if it's a red enemy in dungeons, it's going to drop bombs. And you're only going to get them at 1, 6, and 8. Now, what I mean by 1, 6, and 8 is the game keeps track of your kills on a counter of 10. On the first kill on that counter, the 6th kill, and the 8th kill. So basically, if you're counting up the kills 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14, whenever the 1's digit is a 1, a 6, or an 8, you have a chance to get a bomb. And speaking of bombs, we finally have bombs killing Manhandla on BT's side.
Yeah, you notice that he also did decide to just do away with his timer at this point. This is not a PB. He doesn't want this showing up on his splits.
I don't blame him, although I'd take it at this point. It's probably still going to be better than my regular any percent no up A time. So now you see Four Eye Steven, they're taking this sort of up and down route, and that is an innovation, not new, but it's one of the newer route innovations that you do see when it comes to Zelda 1. And that route, and getting the key up in that top room, that's known as the error key. It was a route divergence created by error 72. Yeah, 72 is the number, I think.
Yes,
it's just a different variation. Just a different variation how to get through level 4. Normally, you'd see people go into that Vires room from the right there. So just another, again, small little route variations. And when you have a run, especially the any percent no up A run, that is as polished as this run is. And when I say by polished, I mean it's been being speedrun for so long that there's very little that can be done to improve it from a standpoint. You have to sort of go in and try and find these small little time safe techniques. Like, let's go north here. Does this work? Just little things. Especially, this run has been, gosh, how long now? Are we at the 15-year mark of this game being speedrun yet?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've definitely passed that 15-year mark.
Personal foul on a commentator, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Might as well charge a 15-yard penalty against me here.
I think BT's wanted to charge that 15-yard penalty against Manhandla. He was certainly giving him the business. So now we've got our two, I really can't say our two leaders on stream, because until the 2 first and the 3 first routes sync up, you really won't be able to tell who's sort of in the lead. 3 first by default, just on the nature of how that route works, is technically faster. But
the thing with the 3 first route is that it is more dangerous.
Exactly. As you can see, John Tabin going into level 4 here with an extra heart container. Now, that might not seem like much, but when you have enemies doing half heart, whole heart damages here, that extra heart container can be huge. That extra hit can be the difference between wiping to a boss or continuing the run.
The other thing is, Greenleaf, is that he's got the white sword, so he can attack these Zals with the sword itself for money.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rupee route, and that's something you don't tend to think about a lot when you're watching this. If you're just watching the run casually, there are so many things going on, like the hearts, the sword, all that. The rupee route is something that you don't think to pay attention to, but it is extremely important.
Can I just take a break here to reflect on what we just saw from John Tabin? He had no bomb, so he had to get a bomb off that Vire with his last bomb, because otherwise he's in a lot of trouble in this 4. You want to have 2 bombs, otherwise you're going into another Manhandla room, and let's just say Manhandla without any bombs is no bueno.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who this might be your first exposure to the vanilla speedrun, because I know the craze of the day is randomizers of all flavors, whether it be Z1, Z3, Final Fantasy, Super Metroid. You pick your game, there's probably a randomizer of some sort for it. This applies to the Z1 randomizer as well, but for those who this might be your first exposure to speedrunning, in addition to the rupee route, which we'll get back to in a second, a more important thing, and I addressed it earlier, is the count. It is your kill count. But even more important than that is the consecutive kills counter. Rick?
Well, actually, I just want to take a break off that for just a moment. We have JSR with 56 rupees. And let's just put this out here. He needs 4 more. So he's got to get a 5 drop somewhere.
Yeah, it's almost at this point that you... and you're doing this so you can pick up the candle. And you need the candle, and and you need the candle to be able to, get into level 8. Really, the only requirement in the run is to get to level 8, but the candle is also going to be used to pick up 100 secret later. Now, the count that I had mentioned earlier can be used for 2 things. It can be used for bomb manipulation, or the 5 drop that you just saw JSR get.
Yeah, if you kill 10 enemies, the 10th enemy you kill with a bomb, you end up getting a bomb drop, as long as it is an enemy that does resolve with a drop on a normal basis. Otherwise, it does what's called a store drop. We'll talk about this as we move along here. But This right now, where you're seeing Four Eyes Steven and JSR head into, is going to be one of the biggest gatekeepers of this run. It's the Room of Requirement. Greenleaf?
Yeah, and JSR playing is super risky. He's only going to have 4 bombs going in here, whereas 4-Eye Steven's going to have the full complement of 8. Now, why this is extremely risky is this is a full room of blue dark nuts, which have 8 HP, which means you're going to have to use 2 bomb hits to kill them, or 8 stabs with your wooden sword. And you're going to have to be extremely bomb efficient, or just be like that and farm one off the blue dark nuts like JSR just did, and completely negate everything I just said.
Well, the thing is that some of the most veteran runners will know how to force off a bomb drop off the Dark Nuts. And fortunately, it looks like JSR got a little aggressive there, and the Dark Nuts gave him the business, as you were calling it here. 4-Eye Steven does not have the ability to keep account at this point, and he's got 2 of them, and he's trying to get them in the perfect spot for the bombs. This is really difficult when you're trying to get it, and you're trying to get it fast. Now, one of the differences in any percent, as you can see, is this is an up and A moment. So 4-Eye Steven grabs the recorder, he ups and A's. Now, the big danger with this is that you're going to be going through the remainder of this level 5 with 3 hearts. And Gibdos, they do 2 hearts of damage, so do the Pole's Voice.
Yeah, another interesting thing I want to point out, the route that John Tabin is running here, that's the first time I think I've seen what he just did in forever watching Zelda 1 speedruns. He got an extra key. We didn't pirouette in level 1. We just walked right through and opened the door the intended way.
Well, the thing is, in any percent, you're doing that to allow your spawns to be in the normal setup that you might have in the any percent no up and A, getting that Staphos to be cooperative on the ladder, and various other things across here. That's why we're seeing them not choose to do the pirouette, and they'll go ahead and make up the key somewhere else on the route.
Can I interrupt you for a second? The dancing that BTs just did to make it through those Gibdos unscathed was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's trying to preserve a count at this point, and let's see how he does in the Room of Requirement. As JSR and 4-Eye Steven, they're synchronized Dig Dogger killing.
Hey, I heard Dig Dogger dislikes certain kinds of music, and holy crap, that Room of Requirement for BTs.
Nice
That's gonna make up a ton of time off those 2-man handle kills. That was beautiful.
I have to say, BTs has caught up a lot of time on JSR and 4-Eye Steven, given the issues that he had against Manhandla in level 3.
Yeah, and that Room of Requirement, that's one you as a speedrunner, you have dreams about Rooms of Requirement that good.
Although he is still going to have to be careful because he took a bot by a Gibdo to knock him down to 1 heart. Anything in this remainder of this level, with the exception of a Keese, will kill him. So he's going to take it easy in this room, but the Gibdos coming up as we get to see the World Wrap coming up from JSR and 4-Eye Steven.
This is one of my favorite tricks in the game now. You see the block up, but the World Wrap where you not only scroll, from one side of the screen to the other, but you completely do it and you warp to the other side of the screen. It's
4-Eye Steven takes the lead.
Yeah, and that's the thing about with this. And no, JSR takes it right back. And that's, how with screen wrapping and ladder clipping, it's fantastic how things work like this. But back to the rupee route there for a second. You saw both of our runners, with JSR and 4-Eye Steven, pick up that 100 rupee secret in the forest, and that's because we still have 2 purchases we need to make. We need to purchase arrows because we need arrows to kill Goma in level 6, and we need to purchase the bait so we can get through the Hungry Gorilla in level 7.
And so also 4-Eye Steven's going to have enough rupees. He's not going to have to worry about any of the drops in level 2. And not that the drops in level 2 are stressful, just when they don't come, then you start stressing out about it. JSR still needs some rupees before he can make his purchases as BTs gets ready to do this World Wrap himself. John Tabin making his way to the Room of Requirement. So a little bit about this tournament. This is the 3rd qualifier that we've had, and the first 2 were dominated by some RC drone guy.
Yeah, see, RC Drone, it's interesting you bring that up because I remember the first Zelda 1 randomizer tournament where this random, and that was the only randomizer tournament where we did seeding, and this random 40-something seed just kept showing up and just kept, and I don't mean just 39. Winning by the skin of his teeth, was it 39 seed, excuse me, and just obliterating all comers, and we're like, who is this guy? And now it's just like, oh, it's Drone. It's like, okay, yeah, we know that's going to happen. But watching him first come onto the scene from the randomizer side of things, and to see where he is now, not just in randomizer, but in the vanilla game, is just fantastic.
There have been 3 sub-30s turned in during the course of these qualifiers. Cantaloupe has one of them, 29-26. Drone has 2 of them, 29-28 in the first qualifier, 28-44 in the second.
That's crazy. And just as a note, the world record for this category is 27:57. So to pull off a less than a minute away from the world record time in a race is bananas.
JSR, the first to Dodongo here, gets him taken care of. He's going to have the bomb advantage heading into level 7, and 4i Steven's going to have 1 fewer bomb. Not a huge difference, but you need 7 for 7.
Yeah. The other big thing that with the rupee totals that both of our runners are going to have is a lot of times in 7, especially with this 3 first route, is you're still going through there with the wood sword. The game, in the logic of the developers, they expect you to at least have the white sword and probably the magical sword by that point. So you're dealing 2 or 4 HP worth of damage every time you swing, not the 1. So with these extra rupees that you're going to see our runners have, don't be surprised if you see them break out some arrow strats to kill some of the harder to kill enemies.
Yeah, you're probably going to see them coming up in the river room in level 7. Both of them taking a half a heart of a bob here. It looks like JSR did the tricorder, whereas 4i Steven did not, if I was looking at this properly. And that will make just a little bit of a note when we get to level 6. We didn't have either their audio up, and we should. Just one.
No, absolutely. But go ahead and what is this tricorder you speak of?
Of course, you're going to ask me, well, I'm trying to take care of something, so while I'd go ahead and take care of things.
Don't set me up for a segue if you don't want to take it.
Well, the tricorder is when you use the recorder on that Armo screen. It helps to eliminate some of the lag before the shopkeeper spawns. And you're going to use that to also limit how many recorders toots you're going to do after level 6. So here comes that room that we're talking about with the arrow strats. You're seeing this right now with JSR. You can see him shoot the arrow immediately to hit that key. So he's going to try to get these gorillas rather, tackled down. And that's how fast that can be if you have the proper arrows to do it. Obviously, you need money in order to pull that off properly.
Yeah, because unlike in future games where you actually have an arrow count, in this game, it's your arrow count is your rupee stash. Also, I'm very disappointed in you that in randomizer you play as the gorilla sprite and you can't even get it right.
I'm trying to multitask here, Greenleaf.
We're not in the same booth. I can't know this. But level 7, the speedrun of level 7 is to me quite possibly my favorite thing about this run. Because you look at the map of level 7, 33 rooms. The first time you're playing this game as a kid, you get that map and you're just like, holy crap, what do I do? And then you speedrun level 7, and then afterwards, after you do 6 level 8, the 2 biggest dungeons that aren't the final dungeon in the game, and you literally go through them in a combined total of like 5 minutes, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and what you're seeing right now is, it looks like John Tabin, rather 4i Steven, is going to be trying to get his bomb drop in this room as opposed to hope for a lucky drop in level 6. So that's going to allow JSR to have a little bit more of a gap as we head into this final room. The reverse C room with the wall masters don't get a clock.
Well, you get the clock
unless
on the
it's
last
the
one.
that drops it.
I have lost several runs to getting caught in the cookie jar in that room.
Oh, nice bomb drop, and he missed on the first bomb, but he was able to get the bomb drop, so JSR will have his bombs for level 6. And all routes have converged as John Tabin is 4th, but he too is in level 7.
Yeah, and he's going to have a little bit easier time here going through 7. We mentioned the arrow route or arrow strats being used by our other runners. He's got the white sword, which is going to do the exact same thing as the wooden arrows are going to do, 2 HP worth of damage.
The main difference there is what John Tabin did was with the white sword, he was able to tackle them down, but it took a little bit longer because he did not have a ranged attack. That's what the power of the arrow does that you saw from both Four-Eyed Steven and JSR. And why does John Tabin have 94 rupees?
I have no idea. But the other thing here is that you'll notice BT's using a strat that you don't see a lot of in vanilla, was trying to bomb down the little mini Dig Dogger pieces, and they got away from him. So instead of wasting more bombs, he just decided to exit the room and then re-go back and... Oh, what?
Greenleaf, I am going to interrupt you for just a moment. I really hope John Tabin remembers to get arrows before he goes to 6.
I hope so, too.
He does not have arrows.
Yeah, because even in the 2 first route, you buy them at pretty much the same point where you saw. You whistle to 4 before you go to 7. You buy bait, you buy arrows. This, oh boy.
Oh, he barely got that Dig Dogger. So what you're seeing right now is BT's heading to level 6. JSR took a bob from in the Belfry. And this is a room that you would love to have Beam Sword in to help tackle it a little bit faster. But it looks like JSR is on the right track for getting this room done pretty easily.
Yeah, no, and Beam Sword, especially in that room, the magical breakfast or magical breakfast room 1, as it were, is especially helpful because the Wizrobes, they can be frenetic and spastic. The blue Wizrobes especially, if you don't know what to look for in their movement, the first time you encounter them, even the 40th time you encounter them, they can feel like they're being spastic. But the big thing to note about the blue Wizrobes is they move like knights on a chessboard. So as long as you know how a knight on a chessboard moves, you can understand how a blue Wizrobe is going to move.
Or I see me having Beam Sword for Magical Breakfast 1, continuing with his Beam Sword for right now. And so JSR will be the first one to Goma, which is why you need to have the arrows, and John Tabin is backtracking to pick up his arrow purchase.
I mean, and I like what you saw him do there, is he knew he needed the bait, and he knew he was going to go to level 7. The chances of picking up, 4 or 5 rupees in 7 are going to be fairly high. So buys the bait, doesn't try farming, goes and gets the Triforce he's going to need because he knows that he can just go pick up the arrows and then be perfectly fine. Yes, it's going to cause a bit of a backtrack, but by going ahead and getting the rupees you need while progressing the course of action you need to do, you're at least making some forward progress.
So you see BT is taking care of Magical Breakfast Room at this point, and Four-Eyed Steven making his way over to Goma. JSR, one single toot on the flute will bring him over to level 8, and we say hello to what will be creatively called Blue Lagoon 1 and Blue Lagoon 2.
Right, the emphasis on the lag part of the lagoon, because there are blue dark nuts, there are fireballs, and there is a whole lot of lag.
And that's a room that I know JSR wished he still had his Beam Sword. He took a bop before heading into level 8. So I also want to point out that these are not the only 4 runners that are in this qualifier. There are other runners that are playing along with this qualifier, and we'll give you updates on how they're doing when they hit the finish line. This is a dangerous room too. If you are going to get bopped by something, you want to get bopped by the fireballs.
Absolutely. Other thing to note here, take a look down at John Tabin's screen, Rick. Do you notice something missing?
Yeah, but he's going to hope to get some bombs off the red Wizrobes coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about this room here is one of the Wizrobes, and he did get the bombs, is one of those Wizrobes is a master. You saw that earlier in 2 where you killed one of the Greys and they all just died. That's a master enemy. There is a master Wizrobe in that room too. So you go in and you kind of hoping that, yeah, you get that one.
So right now, JSR is the leader as he looks to be the first one to head over towards level 9. But anything can still happen at this point now. He's got enough health, he can try to pull off a fast Gliok coming up here, which means you're pretty much tanking the damage while you're right up in this grill. But he looks like he's going to be kind of taking this semi-easy here. He takes a couple of bops, not a problem. Gets a fairy drop. JSR is heading to level 9.
Right, and the reason you want to necessarily take that on the sort of slower side is because while it might look faster that you finish the boss faster, it actually takes longer to get your health refilled when you pick up the Triforce. So the more full hearts you have when you grab that Triforce, the much better off you're being. So taking that slow, like taking the extra half second to a second during the fight to save 2 or 3 seconds in the back end, definitely a trade worth having.
He also has 7 bombs, so he's stocked here for this level 9 coming up. He also has 3 keys, so he does not have to deal with the first river room. Same thing for Four-Eyed Steven, as these 2 will be the first 2 to head into level 9. BT's a little bit behind him. JSR still has a chance to be the third of the runners in the qualifiers to get a sub 30 in this category. There are 3 categories we run in this. This is the first of the 3. Next week and the week after will be the other 2 categories. What are those other 2 categories?
Well, we're going to have swordless, and we're going to have 100%. And I'm personally not a proponent of 100%, but that goes to my boomerang belief, so we're not going to talk about that right now because we're not going to get into politics on stream.
So with the 100% there, you are going to see the route in level 9 change up as opposed to what we see now, because there's a certain red item that we need to pick up on the right-hand side of this level. JSR taking a bop to the likes at this point, which will take away his beam sword for now. Again, he's still good on bombs with 5.
Yeah, and coming up here in level 9, it's very interesting because this is our first introduction to Patra. And, you know, we try not to kill as many... We're very Patra, Patra forward here.
Skip.
And that's the idea. We don't like killing Patra. We just like to walk on by Patra. And that skip was fantastic. You're going to see another couple of Patra skips here. The next one coming up is the real big one because you're skipping by Patra while doing a staircase clip. And that, to me... The first time I ever saw that, that gif of Brian from Family Guy where his jaw just hits the floor and just like has to roll it back up? Yeah, that was me the first time I saw the Patrick 2 clip.
Looks like JSR just swinging here, trying to get himself set up for what will be the Silver Arrow room coming up. That's the next major room. But here's the mechanic here that you were speaking of. Diamond Staircase. Clip your way around. Patra 2A. Nearly got him, but he's good. That is a good skip.
So pretty. And that's one thing I want to point out when it comes to staircase clipping, especially in the diamond staircase, is for those of you who might see this and might be intimidated by the fact of, oh, they're doing this, it's so smooth. Don't be. I'm not good at this game. My time's a 41:28. Okay, I'm not good at the 90% speedrun. To be fair, it's my own doing, but clipping is something that even someone like me can do. And the biggest advice I can give anyone when it comes to try and do the staircase clip is don't rush. People think that because you see it done so quickly that you have to rush it. You don't. And what are we uh-ohing?
Well, we were uh-ohing John Tabin, who was down to 1.5 hearts, but he did get a fairy drop to keep himself alive for now. By the way, JSR still has the chance to wind up getting a sub.
Not if Patra 2 has anything to say about it. Yeah, John is also in desperate need of bombs. He's only got 1 right now. And, oh, I didn't even see John pick up the potion there, but excellent use of it. So that's going to save him from an untimely death here in 8, and does manage to get bombs both from the Gibdo and from the room drop here. So that's just a case of knowing what you're going to get from your rooms, and that was a beautiful potion use.
That was a beautiful fairy there for JSR off the blue Wiz Robe, who has the chance to drop it at the random on the 4 drop. So as we make our way over to the final section of this level 9, JSR has what you could do with a fast P3, Patra 3.
Well, I hate to break this to you, but you said you wanted updates on some of our other runners, right? Well,
yep,
how about...
and we will talk about that in just a second, because the one person who has finished is actually not in the tournament. We'll talk about what he's done in just a moment.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane what we just saw. Speaking of insane, that was a very efficient Patra 3 kill, excuse me, here. And JSR going to come in here. Let's see what we can do on this Ganon fight.
All right. over here, and it does not look like he's going to get the sub 30 based on that right there. And yeah, Gan did not cooperate, but here it is. So
I just saw the time in the SRL. Oh my gosh, that's painful. That is
spoilers.
so painful.
Yep, 30 minutes and 2 seconds for JSR. By the way, as we were mentioning earlier, BT's is down to 2.5 hearts. We do got grayscale here from Four-Eyed Steven. One thing to note, overall, as far as the race was concerned, Yunos won the race. He is not participating in this tournament, but he was racing along with the other runners. 28:44, which ties RC Drone's time, which is a race world record.
Yeah, and just to note, Yunos does have second place in this category, 1 second behind the world record holder with a 27:58. So yeah, Yunos is pretty good at this game too.
And here comes Four-Eyed Steven. He's in.
Yeah, that's going to be an official SRL time of 30 minutes and 44 seconds. So not that far behind JSR. And considering, how many times BT's died at the very early game to manhandle it and the farming he had to do, the fact that he's in 9 where he is right now, compared to when JSR and Four-Eyed Steven finished, that's fantastic. That shows show you the level of skill that BT's has to make up even a little bit of time on that deficit.
Yeah, we're going to have to see him take a slow P3 coming up because he's down to 2.5 hearts and Patra does 2 hearts of damage. John Tabin not that far behind as he goes past Patra 1, takes a bump as he goes through the door. So Four-Eyed Steven was overall 3rd in the race, and we'll update other runners that are playing along with here on this qualifier. Ooh, getting bopped around a couple of times. John Tabin lost 4 hearts there to the Blue Wizrobes, make it 6 hearts, and now down to, if they touch him, he is dead. Oh, that was scary. Gannon coming up here for BT's down in the corner, got him tackled down.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic Ganon fight, especially on 2.5 hearts there. So, oh, wow, this is fun. So BT's coming in finishing, and he's going to finish in 4th place with a time of 32 minutes, 16 seconds. Immediately right behind him is Cake Sauce with a 32:18. 2-second difference.
Yep, Cake Sauce ending up not one of our featured runners here, but great job for Cake Sauce right there. And looks like John Tabin's going to use up his potion, which is a good decision.
Yeah, I would rather go in the Ganon potionless than have to go back through 9, because going back through 9 sucks.
That officially was Cake Sauce's first finished race, and your best time overall is what gets put together for your points in these qualifiers. So you really would like to do pretty well here. So good job to Cake Sauce on that finish. Taking a look at some of the other runners here. Redbird Grad ended up taking a forfeit. We had also had another forfeit earlier in this race as well.
Yeah, Redbird made the comment of died in trap, so I'm assuming that means he was in level 9 and died in that Wizrobe trap room. We had a very, very early forfeit, so I am going to assume somebody else got manhandled.
Yeah, that was a definite manhandled situation. Nice beam sword at the end there for John Tabin, and he's going to try to do the double clip right there. Good job. And he will get his silver arrows, and he will be the final of these runners to hit towards the finish line.
Yeah, and the reverse C room here, it's especially interesting because you see a lot of our runners, they go in and you want to do it as efficiently as possible with bombs. But if you can come out of that room with beam sword, you're never disappointed. Also, you see the fruits of John Tabin taking the time earlier. He killed Patra 2 before he went down the hole the first time. So now we get back here, we don't have to worry about it. We can just casually walk on through and not have to worry about the giant spinning mess.
And John Taven has bombs for days right there. Be able to use them on these blue Wizzrobes to soften them up, and oh, that's going to be good for him here. Oh, lost the red Wizzrobe. There he goes. Has enough health to get through this remainder of this game. Oh, Cake Sauce did a 2 first.
That was a 2 first?
Yeah, he did a 2 first according to his comment.
Wow. And from what I was reading, messed up the world wrap screen scroll, so had to do Lost Woods.
Up, left, down, left.
AB start select?
This ain't a Konami game.
Oh.
We had a Konami game on one of our last randomizer races.
Let's not bring that up, okay?
That's not. Let's finish this off. Get John Taven to the finish line. 4.5 hearts. Ooh, gonna have to be careful. The hug here gets him to the bottom left corner, gets the stun lock, and he's gonna finish this run off. Pretty respectable time, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even talking about 2 first, the fact that you're looking at, 36 and some change here, that's fantastic. I mean, officially the SRL time is 36:11. I mean, all 4 of them still faster than me. But we do still have some people here in the race, but our 4 featured runners have finished. So, Rick, is there any other housekeeping stuff we need to take care of here?
Well, right now we do see a couple of other runners still going on. Garen Old Wolf just forfeited out of the race. We still got Jazz Thief going on, and Tetrally just came across the finish line, 7th place, 37-14. And that tops Tetraly's 38.43 that she had in the qualifier last night. So there's going to be 7 qualifiers of this category. The next one is going to be tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern. And then coming up on, what day is that? That would be Wednesday, isn't it? The 18th, 10 o'clock. And then there's going to be a couple of them coming up
The 18th
on
is
Saturday.
Thursday. The 18th is Thursday.
Okay, 18th is Thursday. So